What's up, guys? This is the Honest Outlaw here, and today we are going to be talking about one of the better pistols that have hit 2019. This is the Taurus G3. Before we do that, I want to thank my patrons and supporters. Thank you guys very much. Because of you, Honest Outlaw keeps going. I really appreciate you propping us up. And because of that, we do a monthly giveaway and we do patron-only content. I also want to mention I have some Amazon links and some Olight links down there if you want to get the discount on any Olight products, or if you want to go to my Amazon store and check out some cool stuff I use on the channel, you are more than welcome to. I also want to mention a local homeless shelter in Ames, Iowa that I like to support. The link to donate for that is in the description below. Now back to the gun. This is the Taurus G3 right here. It is the bigger brother of the Taurus G2C, which was a big hit last year with me and with lots of people because it was, I don't know, the first really reliable gun I think Taurus has ever made. That's not true, but it seems to be pretty close to that. I've had a lot of Taurus bombs in my life, and I was very happy to get a gun from Taurus for around the $200 mark that worked very well. This is kind of a take on the same idea. This is the G3. It's got a little bit longer grip, a little bit longer barrel. It is going to be more of a kind of a compact to mid or full-size gun. Think similar to the Glock 45, Glock 19X. A little bit shorter barrel than a normal full-size, but the same size grip. It comes with two mags. If you saw my first shots video, which a lot of people did. It was a very big video for me, especially for first shots video. I mentioned that it only came with one magazine. However, I am a dum-dum, and it was actually in this little box here underneath. So what can I say? It does come with two mags, but overall, not a big deal. It has a 17-round magazine and a 15-round magazine. The 17-round mag has a sleeve on it to make it feel flush fit when it goes in, which is a nice touch, however, done rather poorly in my opinion compared to some other companies, and it does move all over the place. However, you can put glue or a hair tie or whatever you want to do to fix that issue. It does come with a little bit of a grip here if you have to strip the mag, which I do like in case the magazines get dirty or in case the gun gets dirty and you have to strip the mag and eject it and stuff like that. However, it does come with kind of a subpar takedown system in my opinion compared to something like a SIG or a IWI or something like that. Now this gun is a 4-inch barrel, 9mm striker fired pistol with double strike capability, a single-sided manual safety, and it is chambered in 9mm with a Picatinny rail, and it comes with white box sights. However, I have replaced the sights with a fiber optic set from Lakeline. Now, if you saw my video on Instagram, you'll know that the rear sight on the Lakeline sights, not on the actual Taurus itself, but on the Lakeline aftermarket sights, the set screw, which is the only thing that holds it, by the way, broke off and flew into the great beyond.
And so you're searching for sights in a haystack, huh? Did you find it, for real?
Holy shit. Well, they were good sights. Not so much anymore, huh? People get all wrapped around the axle about pistol sights. I still got a front sight. To get the elevation.
Who needs both sights?
Who needs them? I found the rear sight and replaced it with a different screw that I had. However, I felt like the way that the screw was set in actually got in the way of the rear sight a little bit, and I didn't like that. So I took a drill and drilled that out and put the screw deeper and used a more secure, higher quality metal screw, and I haven't had any issues since then, which is good because it gives a really good sight picture, and it's a pretty cheap set of sights. This fiber optic sight set is around $40 overall. However, like I said, I did have one fly off.
Okay.
I thought that was probably just an act of God or something, but the reality is I had several people on my Instagram comment that they've had that happen too, so that's maybe a risk you're going to have to take with the $40 set of sights, but they do come with a ledge and the fiber optic, so what are you going to do? The Taurus itself comes with front slide serrations, standard barrel, and a kind of a shoddy coating overall, but the double strike capability is very interesting. And I do like to talk about this with the Taurus series of guns because they are striker fired, and the trigger is pretty decent. However, you do have double strike capability in case for whatever reason the round doesn't go off, or if you are dry firing like I constantly do, you can do it without having to rack the slide in between, which speeds up your dry fire process and might make you a better shooter overall. The only downside to that, I would say, is that it's different than the actual cadence of shooting live rounds, because if you can see here, this is the way you do it when you do the double strike capability. You can see that the reset is very long, but if you actually rack the slide, it's about half the distance. So the gun itself actually doesn't have a bad trigger overall. It just might feel that way if you're letting it ride out every time. The reliability on this gun was pretty awesome. 1,000 rounds for this gun with no problems whatsoever. Same as its little brother, the G2C. So that's really, really good, especially for the price of this gun, which is an astonishing $200 to $250. I got it for around $270, but I got it the day of release. My buddy PewView, you go check his Instagram or his YouTube and his Instagram out. He got a hold of me and asked me if I wanted this, so I went over there and picked it up. Really appreciate him letting me know, and he's got a cool channel, so feel free to check it out. The accuracy on this gun was, again, very, very good for the price. The trigger's not bad, and the sights are kind of garbage from the factory, the white dot with the white box. I mean, think factory Glock sights right from the factory. However, they were still doable, and from the factory, the front sight was actually a little bit crooked as well, which also prompted the sight change. But even before that, I was able to hit at 75 yards, and most handgun confrontations are not going to happen anywhere beyond 10 yards, so you're going to be totally fine with the stock sights if you choose to use them. However, I like to shoot at long distance for fun, so I switched them up, and I had no problem hitting with this. I shot this next to the SIG P365 and a Glock 19, and this was as accurate, if not a little bit more accurate, than both. So I just got done shooting the P365 XL by Sig Sauer, and I had some trouble. And this is one of the reasons why I like to shoot on days that are miserable. And today's pretty miserable. I'm just getting done with a cold. I'm pretty sore, pretty tired. And it's really cold outside, it's really windy outside. And it's just a lot of adversity you have to overcome. And in times like that, you really figure out how you actually shoot a gun or how you're actually gonna shoot under stress, because you know, you're under stress. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring out the Taurus G3 here and see if I can actually shoot this better than the 365. Well, not perfect, but a significantly higher hit ratio with this gun. So for $250, you got some pretty crazy accuracy considering the cost of the gun and the overall quality of the parts involved. Still a very accurate gun overall. Now the shootability was also pretty excellent. The gun itself has a very low recoil impulse. It has a low bore axis. The slide is not very heavy, so it doesn't reciprocate too much. And the texture on the gun feels really good in hand, and it's got a pretty aggressive bite to it, just like the M&P series. However, it's not over the whole grip, it's just over the bottom. And wow, I have to admit, I like it better than almost every other gun I've tried in a long time besides maybe the M&P. This is a really well done grip texture by Taurus. And not only that, but it doesn't actually look half bad either, which is pretty impressive in my opinion. So the shootability is pretty excellent. It shoots really quickly and it's fairly low recoil, and the slide is really easy to manipulate. So if you're an older person or a person with arthritis or something like that and you're looking for a gun that you can get for a reasonable price, this is not a bad way to go. It does have that manual safety. A lot of people hate that, and they tell people never to carry a gun with a safety. But if it's between carrying a gun with a safety and not carrying one at all, especially if you're a first-time gun owner and a first-time person at concealed carry, by all means, go with a gun with a safety. You know, I think safety properly done can be easily manipulated. I've carried 1911s for a long time. I don't carry them all the time, but I've shot them a lot. I shoot CZs a lot. And if a safety is intuitive, it's really not that hard. And this one isn't a bad one, in my opinion, to use. It feels like a little bit of an afterthought, but not as bad as some other guns that I've seen. So if you, again, want a gun with a safety and you want it for a reasonable price, this is a pretty good way to go. Personally, for me, I could carry this gun and completely ignore that safety without any problem whatsoever, but it does give you a nice place to ride your thumb so you don't ride the safety lever. So one of the things that I do with Glocks a lot, or the slide release, not the safety lever. One of the things I do with Glocks a lot is I have a bad habit of accidentally hitting it with my big thumbs, and with this gun I don't have that problem, and the slide locks back all the time because that safety acts like a ledge that I can put my thumb on. And if I had a gun that had a manual safety, I would get into the habit of riding that anyway, just in case it did come up while you were carrying it. You could always make sure it's down before you decided to use the gun. I don't like the takedown mechanism, and they stole that from Glock, but totally fine. They should have stolen it from somebody else. I prefer the takedown lever. I've done gauntlet tests in the past where sand and dust have got up in there, and that is impossible to get apart without blowing it out. With a takedown lever, you can monster it through, and you can take that out, blow it out with your mouth or whatever you need to do, and get that gun cleaned out quickly. In case you, like, I don't know, you ever seen that scene with, No Country for Old Men with Josh, the guy who was Thanos. Anyway, so Thanos was in No Country for Old Men, and he got his 1911 wet, and he had to take it apart and all that because it got wet. But imagine if that was a sand or something like that, and a pit bull was coming at you, you had to quick take your gun apart. You would not be able to do it with this. You could do it with a SIG. That incredibly unfeasible, fantastical scenario there. If it did happen to you, you'd wish you didn't have these. Overall, the gun is extremely excellent for the price, I would have to say. I don't see a whole lot wrong with it. It comes with kind of a shoddy case. It comes with 2 magazines, which isn't bad. I guess I should say the cons to it are going to be the fact that it probably isn't as high quality parts-wise as a lot of other guns, and it probably isn't going to last as long. Long-term durability is probably the biggest reason I would see to upgrade to something like an IWI or an FN series or a Gen 1 or Gen 2 M&P, which aren't going to be they're not going to be much more in price than the G3 is. However, if you don't care about that and you're looking for a gun that you're just going to put in a shoebox in a closet, or if you're looking for a hideaway gun, or if you're looking for a truck gun, first-time carry gun, you're not concerned with the long-term durability, you're not going to shoot 20,000 rounds for it, let's say, this is a phenomenal gun, and probably my first choice for that. For a first-time gun buyer that's probably not going to shoot very much, or a person on a budget or anything like that, this is the best gun under $300 that I have ever tested on this channel. Now, again, it's going to have some downsides like long-term durability. It's going to have the shoddy finish, and customer service is not going to be that good from my personal experience and from lots of experience on my channel. I get a lot of feedback from the community. Thank you for that. I'm one of those guys that try to read the comments if possible. I try to learn things, other people's experiences, because again, this is only one gun. If I test one gun, I like to hear other people's experiences and compare them with my own before I give you my opinions overall. So if you're not worried about any of that stuff, which a lot of you aren't, the Taurus G3 is an excellent choice. I'm going to keep shooting this. You're going to get a 2,000 round update for sure, and you might even get a 5,000 round update. Hard to say. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.